Hello, my dear friends. How are you all? I hope you all are good and fantastic. So, friend, today we will start a very new lecture, lecture number 5 of quadratic equation. Okay, so now this lecture is again going to be very amazing. So, you have to be listen very carefully because this is the base of this chapter. Okay, this is the base of this chapter. So, without wasting the time, let's start. Yes, so we have to know. So today in this lecture, we are going to be study nature of roots. What is? Yes, nature of roots. Okay. So means the roots may be real, maybe equal, or maybe not real. So it will depend on this lecture. Okay. So before discussing this, we have to know what is discriminant. What is discriminant? So friend, we have a formula of quadratic formula or Sridharacharya formula. X is equals to minus b plus minus under root b square minus 4ac. Okay, under root. Okay, and divided by 4a. This is the formula. Now, most important thing is this lecture is completely based on this part, based on this part, this under root part. Okay, this b square minus 4ac. Okay, this b square minus 4ac, and this is called discriminant. This is called discriminant. Okay, I hope you get this point. So for a quadratic equation, if we have a quadratic equation, ax square plus bx plus c is equals to 0. So the expression is b square minus 4ac. 4ac is called the discriminant, which is represented by d, which is denoted by d. Okay, so this is our discriminant. Okay, now the discriminant determines the nature of roots of the quadratic equation based on the coefficient of the quadratic equation. Okay, so this discriminant determines, okay, this discriminant determines the nature of roots. Okay, it may be positive or negative. Okay, so now let's move on. Yes, now finally comes on the nature of roots. What is nature of roots? Okay, so based on the value of discriminant d, which having b square minus 4ac, okay, based on this value, okay, based on d, the roots of the quadratic equation can be of three types. Can be of three types. What? Yeah, let's see. Case 1. So you have to be listen very carefully. These are very important cases. Okay, case 1 is if d if d is greater than 0, then the equation has two distinct rules. Then the equation here has two distinct roots. Okay, case 2 is that equation if d is equals to 0, if d is equals to what? If d is equals to 0, the equation has two real roots. Equation has two equal real roots. I hope you get this point. And the last case, case number 3 is case 3 is if d is less than 0, then the equation has no real roots. Then the equation has no real roots. Okay, I hope you get this point. So what are these three conditions? If we have discriminant d which is equals to what? Which is equals to b square minus 4ac. All the nature of roots depends on this d. Okay, if d is greater than 0 means the value of b square minus 4ac is greater than 0, then the equation has two distinct real roots. Okay, and in case second, if d is equals to 0, then the equation has two equal real roots. Okay, if d is less than 0, then the equation has no real roots. Okay, equation has what? No real roots. I hope you get this point. So now, yes, let's move on. Yes, solving using quadratic formula when d is greater than 0. Let's suppose we have an equation like, what? 2x square minus 7x plus 3 is equals to 0. Okay, we have the equation like this. Using the quadratic formula, using the quadratic formula, first point is this: identify the quadratic coefficient of quadratic equation. Like we have a is equals to 2, b is equals to minus 7, and c is equals to what? 3. Okay, now calculate the discriminant, and second part is what? We have to calculate d. And what is d? D is b square minus 4ac. Okay, now what is b? B have minus 7 square minus 4 into a is what? A is 2 and c is 3. Now if we solve it, we get 49 minus 4 to the 8, 8 3 is a 24. Now if we subtract it, then we get what? We get d is equals to 25. Now here in this case, d is greater than 0 means means this equation has two distinct real roots. This equation has two distinct real roots. Now substitute this coefficient in the quadratic formula to find the roots. Okay, now we are substituting this. We have the formula x is equals to minus b plus minus under root b square minus 4ac divided by twice of n. We apply this formula when d is greater than n equals to 0. Okay, if d is greater than n equals to 0, if d is not greater than equals to 0, if d is less than 0, then we cannot apply this formula. Okay, now let's go on. What is minus b? Minus b is, we have minus 7. When it will become positive, then it is plus 7. Plus minus, this is 25 divided by 2 into twice of a is means 2. 2 into 2 is 4, and we get 7 plus minus 5, and result is 4. Okay, so I hope you get this point. Now if we take the positive part, then x is equals to what? 7 plus 5 means 12 divided by 4, 3. And if we take the negative part, we get what? We get 2 upon 4 means 1 by 2. So we have two roots, what is 3 and 1 by 2. So I hope you get this point, how we have to find the roots. If this all the formula, complete formula is based on the discriminant. If t is greater than n equals to 0, then we can apply this formula. If d is not equals to 0 and is less than 0, then we cannot apply this formula because the equation has no real roots. Okay, let's go on. Yes, so now graphical representation of a quadratic equation. Okay, okay, so the graph of quadratic equation, quadratic polynomial is a parabola. Okay, so the roots of a quadratic equation are the given, are the points where the parabola cuts the x-axis. Okay, what? So the roots of the quadratic equation are what? Are the point where the parabola cuts the x-axis. That is the points where the value of the quadratic polynomial is 0. Means, let's suppose we have an equation. What? We have an equation is x square plus 5x plus 6 is equals to 0. Now we have, if we plot this on the graph, okay, so first of all we have to find the roots of this equation. So what are the roots of this equation? So the roots of this equation is, if we find it, then x square plus, okay, 3x plus 2x plus 6 is equals to 0. X plus 3, okay, plus 2 x plus 3 is equals to 0. Here is x plus 3 and x plus 2 is equals to 0. Now we get x is equals to minus 3 and minus 2. So there are two roots, minus 3 and minus 2. Means here minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. Okay, here is 1, 2, 3 and so on. Similarly and so on. Here is 1, 2, 3 and so on. And here is minus 1, minus 2 and minus 3 and so on. Okay, now this is y, this is y dash, this is x, this is x dash. Now, so we have two roots, what? 3 and 2, minus 3 and minus 1. So the curves will intersect at these points. Okay, so now, so the curve is like this. Okay, so this is the parabola. This is what? This is the parabola curve, and it cuts at the x-axis at what point? Minus 2 and minus 3, and minus 2 and minus 3 are, these are the roots of this equation. So this is the graphical representation of the quadratic equation. This is the what? This is the quadratic equation, graphical representation of quadratic equation. Now, how we can decide that the parabola is this? The parabola is the upward. Okay, it can be like downward. Okay, it can be like this, but this is wrong. So the condition is that, so the above in the above figure, minus 2 and minus 3 are the roots of the quadratic equation, no doubt. So for the quadratic polynomial, okay, let's suppose we have quadratic polynomial ax square a x square plus bx plus c. We have a quadratic polynomial. So if a is greater than 0, the parabola opens upward. Means the parabola opens upward. Okay, now, so in this case, a is what? A is 1, which is greater than 0. So that's why we draw the curve like this in the upward direction. Okay, now you got this point. Now the second condition is, if a is less than 0, if a is less than 0, then we are not discussing about the discriminant, we are just discussing about the coefficient of x square. Okay, don't be confused. Okay, d decides the nature of roads, and here a is decides the direction of parabolic curve. Okay, so the parabolic curve, in this case parabola, opens downward, opens downwards. I hope you get this point. Now, if a is equals to 0, the polynomial will become a first degree, means it will become a linear equation. Okay, then polynomial become linear equation. Linear equation. How? Let's see. We have ax square plus bx plus c. If we put a is equals to 0, then we get 0.x square, 0 dot x square plus bx plus c. Okay, so we have bx plus c. This is c. So this is our linear polynomial. Okay, okay. So I hope you get this point. So the polynomial and its graph is linear. Okay, this will become linear. Okay, yes. So let's move on. Yes. So nature of graph for different values of d. Okay. Now we have to see that we were see that what we were seeing that saw that the direction of graph. Now we will see the nature of graph. Like our graph will be maybe like this, maybe like this. Okay, maybe this. So it will depend on the value of these. Okay, so if d is greater than 0, then the parabola cuts the x-axis at exactly 2 points. Okay, cut at the x-axis exactly at 2 points. It may be like this, it may be this, it may be this. That it not decide the direction, it not decide the it may be upward or downward. No, it decides the how many cut are cut on the x-axis. Okay, I hope you get this point. Okay, so the parabola cuts the x-axis at exactly 2 distinct points and the roots are distinct. Okay, distinct means different. This case is shown in this figure. Okay, now second case is if d is equals to 0, then the parabola just touches the x-axis at one point, means like this. It just touched the x-axis at one point. Okay, I hope you guys you get this point. Now in this case the roots are real. In this case roots are real, equal real. Roots are equal. Roots are what? Equal. Okay, now the next condition is if d is less than 0, then the curve will draw like this. Like this means it can be drawn like this or this or this. So the main condition is that it does not touch any of the point on the x-axis. Okay, so in this case there are no real roots. Okay, I hope you get this point. Okay, so now let's move on. So now formation of quadratic equation from its roots. Okay, so to find out the standard form of quadratic equation when the roots are given. So let's suppose we have roots are given alpha and beta. These are the roots which is already given. Okay, roots of quadratic equation. But we don't know what is equation. So for finding this equation, we can apply this. Okay, we can do it x minus alpha into x minus beta is equals to what? Yes, is equals to 0. We can do it directly. So with the help of this, we can easily find out the quadratic equation. Okay. So on expanding this, if we expand it, x into x minus beta minus alpha into x minus beta, okay, is equals to 0. Now this is x square minus this is x beta, this is minus x alpha, and this is plus alpha beta. Okay, now this is x square. If we take x as a common, minus x as a common, then we get alpha plus beta plus alpha beta. So we can also say that we can find quadratic equation with the help of what? With the help of sum of roots and product of roots. So this is what? X square minus x into sum of roots plus product of roots. Product of roots. Okay, this is equals to 0. Okay, so I hope you get this point. Now here is a is what? A we have 1, b we have minus alpha plus beta, and c we have alpha beta. So friend, I hope you get this point. Now what is sum of roots and product of roots? Let's see that. Sum and product of roots of a quadratic equation. So let alpha and beta are the roots of quadratic equation. Roots of quadratic equation, and we have the equation is ax square plus bx plus c is equals to 0. Okay, now the sum of roots is what? Sum of roots we have, this is equals to alpha plus beta, which is equals to what? Minus b upon a. Okay, means minus coefficient of x divided by coefficient of x square. Okay, coefficient of x square. So I hope you get this point. Okay, so now here is e, coe double f I c I e n t s coefficient. Okay, now what is product of roots? Product of roots is equals to alpha into beta, and is c upon a equals to constant term divided by coefficient of x square. Here is x square. So friend, this is our sum of roots and product of root. So I hope you get this point. So now let's come on the questions. What are the questions? So the question first is, find the nature of the roots of the following quadratic equation. If the real roots exist, then find them. Okay, very easy. So first of all, what we can do it? Yes, we have to find the discriminant. Okay, so now we have a is equals to 2, B is equals to -3, and C is equals to what? 5. Okay, I hope you get this point. Now we have to find D, which is what? B square minus 4AC. What is B? B is -3, minus 4 into A is 2, and C is what? 5. So we have 9 minus 4 5s are 20, 22s are 40. Okay, and we get minus 31. So this is D, which is less than 0, which is less than what? 0. So the real roots does not exist. We can write it. Okay, so there is no real roots. Okay, I hope you get this point. Now let's move on. Yes, again we have this quadratic equation, and what is A? We have A is 3. What is B? B is minus 4 root 3. What is C? C is 4. So now we have to find the D. D have B square minus 4AC. And what is B? Minus 4 root 3 whole square, minus 4 into 3, and C into 4. So we have 16 into 3 is what? 48. Okay, minus 4 3 is 16, 16 into 3 again 48. So we have 0. So D is equals to 0. And in this case, what? In this case, real roots exist. Real roots is exist for the given equation, and they are equal, and they are equal. Okay, they are equal to each other. So now what is the roots? So the roots are, so the roots will be what? B square upon, wait, minus B upon twice of A, and minus B upon twice of A. Okay, so both are the equal. Now what is minus B? Yeah, minus 4 root 3 divided by 2 into 3. We get 4 root 3 divided by what? Divided by 6. And it will goes to 2 times, and it will 3 times. We have 2 root 3 divided upon 3. What? Yes, we have 2 root 3 divided upon root 3. It can be written as 2 root 3, and we can write 3 as root 3 into root 3. And 1 root 3 will be cancelled, and we have 2 root 3. So we have roots are what? We have roots x is equals to 2 by root 3 and 2 upon root 3, equal roots. Okay, yes, yes. Again we have a question. Find the value of k for each of the following quadratic equation so that they have two equal roots. It means, what is the condition of equal roots? Condition of equal roots is D is equals to 0, means B square minus 4AC is equals to 0. Okay, and what is the value of B? Value of B is K, means K square minus 4 into A is 2 and C is 3, which is equals to 0. Now we get K square minus 4 to the 8, 8 to the 24, which is equals to 0. Okay, so now we have K is equals to under root 24. Okay, if we factorize it, we get plus minus this, plus minus 2 root 6. Okay, so value of K is plus minus 2 root 6. Okay, yes. So again, in this case, we have to find k also. So first of all, we have to solve it. K x square, k x square minus 2k plus 6 is equals to 0. This is our standard form. Okay, now d is equals to 0 and b square minus 4ac is equals to 0. B is minus 2 and 4 into k into 6, which is equals to 0. Now we have, wait, this is 2k, means this is 2k square, 2k whole square, and it will become what, 4k square. Okay, 2kx, 4k square minus 24k is equals to 0. Okay, yes. So we have k square, we can take from this is again a quadratic equation. This is again a quadratic equation. So now we take 4k as a common and k minus 6 is equals to 0. We have two factors, means 4k is equals to 0, which will give k is equals to 0. And second is k minus 6 is equals to 0. Then we have k is equals to 6. So we have the value of k is 0 and 6. However, if k is equals to 0, then the equation will not have in terms of x square. Okay, if we put k is equals to 0 in this equation, then it will become what? Then it will become linear equation. So this is not acceptable. So this is our acceptable value. Okay, so if the equation has two equal roots, then k should be 6 only. Then k should be what? 6 only. Okay, so now let's move on. Yes, is it possible to design a rectangular mango groove whose length is twice its breadth, and the area is 800 meters square? If so, find its length and breadth. So first of all, we have to take length and breadth. Let length is equals to what? L, and breadth is equals to what? The condition is length is twice its breadth. Means if we have B, length is twice its breadth. Okay, if we have breadth B, okay, so the length is twice of B. Okay, so now what is area? Area is L into B. And what is L? We have L is twice of B into B, which is equals to what? 800. And we get twice of B square is equals to 800. Okay, we have L square is equals to 800 divided by 2. We get 400. Okay, now we have L square minus 400 is equals to 0. So the comparing the given equation with the standard form, so we have what? This is our required quadratic equation. So we have A is equals to 1, B is equals to 0, and C is equals to minus 400. Okay, so now first of all we have to find the discriminant. Is discriminant is greater than 0 or not? So D is equals to B square minus 4AC. So what is D? So our D is, B is 0 minus 4 into what is A? A is 1. And what is C? C is what? C is minus 400. And we get 1600. We get what? 1600. So D is greater than 0. Thus the equation will have real roots, and hence the desired rectangular mango grooves can be. So we have what? We have L square minus 400 is equals to 0. Okay, we can find it easily. So L is equals to plus minus 20. Okay, L is equals to plus minus 20. So as we know that the value of length here is B. Here is what? Here is B. Again, here is B. Now here is also B. Okay. So now as we know that the breadth cannot be negative. Okay. So we are just ignoring the minus 20. So B is equals to 20. Now we have breadth is 20 meter. So what is the length? What is the length? So the relation of length and breadth is twice. So the length is twice of B, means 2 into 20. And we have length is what? Length is 40 meter. So we have length is 40 meter and breadth is what? 20 meter. Okay. Yeah. So I hope you get this point. Now the next question is it possible to design a rectangular park of perimeter 80 and area is 400 meters square? If so, find the length and breadth. Okay, now let's do that. So first of all, we have to take the length and breadth. Let length is L and breadth is what? Breadth is B. Okay, now what is the perimeter? We know that perimeter is 2 into L plus B, and we have perimeter is 80 meter. Okay, and if we put we take we L plus B is equals to what? 40 meter. Okay, so now we have value of B is equals to 40 minus L. Okay, now what is area? Can anyone tell me what is area? Area is L into B, and which is equals to 400 meter square. Okay, now we have the value of B is L is 40 minus L, which is equals to 400, and this will become 40L minus L square is equals to 400. Now from this, L square plus 400, we will have to write is we have 40L plus this is minus sign. This is of minus sign. L square minus 40L plus what? Plus, yes, 400, which is equals to 0. Now, first of all, we have to see the value of D. B square minus 4AC. And what is B? This is minus 40 square minus 4 into what? 4 into 400. So, we get 1600 minus 1600. Okay, this will give us 0. Okay, so now we have the value of B square minus 4AC is equals to 0. So this equation has equal roots, hence the situation is possible. So the root of the equation is L is equals to minus B upon twice of A. Okay, so now we get what? We get minus of minus 40 divided by twice of A means 2 into A is what? A is 1 we have. So we get plus 20. So we have the value of L is 20. What is L? Value of L is 20. Okay. So now what is the value of B? So the value of P is 40 minus 20. 40 minus 20, which will give 20 meter. Okay. So L is equals to 20 meter. And B is equals to again 20 meter. Okay, so this is our answer. So friend, this is enough for today. And now you are able to do the questions based on word problems and quadratic equation. You can easily frame the questions and you can easily solve it. So now we will meet in the next lecture. So thank you very much for listening me, and take care and goodbye.